Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-boop. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-boo-do-do-boo. Ba-da-bip-boop-bap-boop-a-dee-bip-boop. Hey, word nerds, how's everybody doing today? I am recording this on, December 19th, 6:58 a.m. Ooh-wee. We're gonna have fun today with a whole bunch of words that I don't know. I know one of them. Maybe I know another one, but no, it's a lot of words I don't know. Let's see. Okay, let's just get into them. The first word is epazote. E-P-A-Z-O-T-E. Epazote. Oh, good thing it's spelled just like it sounds. Noun from 1946, epazote. The synonym is wormweed. Wormwood bee. It's the bee definition for wormwood, but also the fresh or dried, pungent smelling leaves of worm seed used especially in Mexican cooking. So this is some sort of plant thing that has leaves that smell. Oh, they smell so pungent. And they could be either fresh or dried. It's called worm seed, also called epazote. And the name epazote is Mexican Spanish. That's what it says. It's not Spanish Spanish. It's not Argentinian Spanish. It's Mexican Spanish. From the Nahuatl word epazotl, but it doesn't say what that means, so I assume that's just their name for this plant. Worm seed that we call here in English. Maybe I should post a picture on the social media of this epazote / worm seed so you can see what it is. It's at dictionarypod on Instagram, Facebook, X, Twitter, that thing, Threads. That's all I can do with the social media. Okay, my sound effect today is going to be because our next word is pronounced either epe or epe, emphasize either syllable, epe or epe, spelled E-P-E-E, but there's 3 E's in 4 letters, and the first 2 E's have the accents that go boop, down on the left, up on the right. Epe, no, that's one word, epe or epe. This is a noun from 1889. 1. A fencing or dueling sword, having a bowl-shaped guard and a rigid blade of triangular section with no cutting edge that tapers to a sharp point, blunted for fencing. Compare to, the number 1 definition for the 5th form of the word foil, F-O-I-L, and then also the synonym, the word saber, S-A-B-E-R. This word, epe, you often find in crossword puzzles because there's so many vowels, and it's just a good one to put in there when you got a bunch of E's in one area. So yes, there was a lot of information there with that first definition. It's a sword. It's a type of sword, but very specifically, there's actually a picture. So let's talk about what this looks like. There's the hilt, the handle where you hold it from, and then there is a bowl-shaped metal piece above that to help, guard your fingers and knuckles from getting hit. So that's a very important part, a bowl-shaped guard. It's a rigid blade, so it's not flexible. Like some blades are flexible, they bend. This one is rigid, I guess. It has a triangular section with no cutting edge, which I guess just means that the blade itself is if you were to look at it from the point down towards the handle, it would be the shape of a triangle. So there's no edge of it that's sharper or pointier than another edge. It tapers to a sharp point, so if it weren't for fencing practicing, there would be a sharp point at the end. But because we're using this for fencing and practice and sport and things, we don't want to actually stab anybody. It's blunted, so the end of it is not very sharp. But it would probably hurt if you got stabbed with it. You could probably still do some damage. What did I see recently? Wednesday. Wednesday had some fencing. They probably were using these epes. What other examples? We see fencing in lots of movies. Princess Bride, I mean, they're not using epes because they're doing some actual fencing. The characters are doing some actual fencing, but the actors might be using something like this. Well, number 2 for epee is the art or sport of fencing with the epee. Let's go do some epeying. Let's go play the epee with our epes. Let's go. I never did. It looks pretty fun. It does look fun. You gotta block. You gotta parry. You gotta avoid the slishes and the slashes from your opponent, and you gotta be very fast. You watch this. This is very fast. They go boom. Oh, I got a point. I got a point. It's so fast I can't even see what happens. This word is French, if you couldn't tell, from the Latin spatha. Spatha. I mean, it doesn't say what that is, but I'm guessing that's just the word for this sword. Okay, now that's the end of that word. Next is epeist. I think that's how you would say it. Epeist or epeist. So it's the same word, epee, but we have ist at the end. This is a noun from 1910. One who fences with an epee is an epeist, or maybe just a stabber, a swordist, a saberist, a foilist. Any one of those words totally exists. We just last night finished watching a rewatch of Ted Lasso. We finished the finale last night, and in one of the 2 last episodes, there is a character who finally, officially goes by Zorro, and of course Zorro fought with a sword. I don't know what else he did. I think maybe that's all he had. He just had a sword, and he went. Next word is epeirogeny. Epeirogeny, spelled epeirogeny. Epeirogeny, noun from 1890. The deformation of the Earth's crust by which the broader features of relief are produced. Okay, so the Earth's crust is getting deformed. The broader features of relief are produced. So, I mean, I just think that would mean like the mountains and the valleys and the canyons, those types of things. When the tectonic plates are moving, that's going to create the mountains, I think. When they're going together, they push the rock up into these mountains. Is that what this is talking about? Epeirogeny? Epeirogenic. There we go. Epeirogenic is an adjective. Epeirogenetically? No, that's not the word. Genetically. They don't show the whole pronunciation, which is very frustrating. Epeirogenically, that's an adverb. Those mountains were made epeirogenically. So I guess it's just the act of the crust changing its shape. Maybe. Maybe we need to put a link in the show notes for epeirogeny. This word is from the Greek epeiros or epeiros, which means mainland or continent, and then the suffix geny, Geny. So yeah, it's something about the continents, the crust, all that stuff moving around. Here we go with, how do you say this? Epenthesis. 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 Noun, from. 1543. The insertion or development of a sound or letter in the body of a word. Okay, and it gives us an example. This is great. I love this. Okay, the sound in athlete, that's the word athlete, but I don't ever, I just say athlete. There's no sound. So if you were to say athlete, if you were to change it to 3 syllables, you would have done an epenthesis because you would have inserted the sound or a letter into the body of a word. I wonder, is it like you're changing it? Does this only happen when you're changing the sound of a word that's different than how it's normally said? It doesn't say that, but if you're adding a sound or changing a sound or a letter in a word, that's epenthesis, I guess. And I'm getting warm in here, so I got to take off my jacket because I was so cold. It's like 19 degrees outside, and this is ridiculous. Epenthetic, that is an adjective, and this word is from the Greek epentitheni, and that just literally means to insert a letter. To insert a letter. And that, if we break it down even more, that is from the epi prefix plus the n prefix, plus antitheni. That word means to put in. So you're putting the thing in, and then that word is broken down further to n plus titheni, and titheni means to put. So to put, and then it becomes to put in when you put the n in front of it, and then when you put the epi at the front of that, that means to insert a letter. So epi, that prefix epi, must be related to letters, but we haven't actually gotten to EPI yet. That's going to be in the next episode. There is the epi prefix there, so we'll see if we find anything about letters there. Epenthesis, adding a sound, putting in a letter, all those things. Here we go with epern or apern. So the first syllable is pronounced I or a, and then the second syllable is always emphasized pern. Pern? Pern. Epern. epeirogeny. Yes, this word is spelled not how you might think. It's French, of course. Epern. It is a noun from 1754, an often ornate tiered centerpiece consisting typically of a frame of wrought metal, like silver or gold, bearing dishes, vases, or candle holders, or a combination of these. Okay, it's a centerpiece. That's the important part. And it's probably made of metal, silver, or gold, but it could also, it's created from a variety of dishes, vases or vases, candle holders, either one set of those or all of them, a mixture of them. That's a very odd centerpiece, don't you think? I think. No, I kind of just want to check myself right now. I mean, we might need to put a picture on social media for this epern. Oh yeah, there we go. Yes, this is some very, very fancy centerpieces. I'm seeing glass also, silver, gold, maybe bronze, and yeah, it's like a candlestick, but also it's got bowls, and there's tons and tons of different kinds, and vases, and it's just a crazy fun centerpiece. And I don't know what you could probably put candles in there, but you could probably also put other stuff in these bowls and stuff. Beautiful, beautiful work, really. Fascinating. Yeah, I want to put some of these on social media. And this word is from the French épargne, spelled a little bit differently. And that word means saving. So, what is it? Like you're saving all of your dishes and vases and candlestick holders, and you're like, I don't want to get rid of them, so I'm just going to put them in the center of the table and make it a centerpiece. Next is epexegesis. 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 Noun from circa 1577. Additional explanation or explanatory matter. So if you're expounding on something, here we go. I'm literally doing epexegesis while I'm talking about epexegesis. You're just additional explanation or explanatory matter. That's all it is. Just more information, please. Please, can you exegesis that? I don't think that's how we use it in context. But we do have some other forms of the word. Epexegetical or epexegetic, those are adjectives. And epexegetically is an adverb. Oh, and Spencer did that additional explanation. He did it exegetically. This word is from Greek epexegesis, which looks like the same word. That is from epi, the epi prefix, plus exegesis. I don't know how the Greeks pronounce that. And that word just means exegesis, which we will see in the EX section. Something about explanations, and maybe if epi is related to words somehow, then it's adding words to the thing that's already there. I guess, maybe. Epexegesis, yeah. Here we go now. So that was the end of the EPE section. Here we go with the EPH section. There's nothing between the E and the H. We go straight to EPH. So this one is, you'd probably pronounce it F, spelled EPH with a capital E, or you could spell it EPHES, because this is an abbreviation for Ephesians. And I think that's going to be in the next episode, Ephesians. That's how you really say it. Ephesians. Because I just looked at the pronunciation. So F or Fs or Ephes is an abbreviation for Ephesians, which we will learn about in the next episode. Next we have Epha. Now you can also just say it Epha. Epha, spelled E-P-H-A-H. Epha. I will say Epha. Noun from 1611. This is an ancient Hebrew unit of dry measure equal to 1/10 homer, or a little over a bushel. It's just a little bit over a bushel. Or you take Homer Simpson and you take 1/10 of his dry weight. I think, yes, probably his dry weight. Now, it doesn't literally say what sort of measurement it is. It just says it's ancient. It's from the Hebrews, or Hebrew language, or the Hebrew people. Dry measure equal to 1/10 of a homer, or a little over. But now bushel, that makes me think of volume. So maybe it's a volume thing, an ephah. And what is a homer? Of course, I think of Homer Simpson. But I don't think we're taking 1/10 of Homer Simpson. I don't know. Maybe 1/10 of Homer would be about a bushel. This word is from Hebrew, ephah, from Egyptian. Now, I don't know how to say this word. It's spelled apostrophe PT. Apostrophe PT, to me, just looks like... That's how I would say it. But I don't know how the Egyptians say that word. And it is ephah, and it's just a unit of measure of probably volume, but also possibly weight. Not sure. Next is ephebe. Ephebe or where did it go? Ephebe. You can emphasize either one. Ephebe. It is spelled Ephebe. Ephebe. I think that's how I say it. I've never said this word before. Noun from 1880. The synonym is ephebus. Ephebus. That's coming up here in this episode. But it is also a young man. And another synonym is the word youth. So it's a kid, but maybe specifically a young man. Ephebe or ephebe, also known as ephebus. I wonder if that's related to fetus at all. Fetus. The etymology doesn't give much. It's just from the Latin word ephebus or ephebus. I think they would have pronounced it ephebus. But it doesn't. We're not at that word yet, so we can't talk about it. But what we are going to talk about looks related, and it is ephebic, with an IC at the end. Adjective from 1865 of, relating to, or characteristic of an ephebe or ephebe or ephebus, which is our next word. I'm slicing you with my epee. Here we go with ephebus. Noun from 1627, and yes, the plural would be ephebi. Yes, ephebi, because the US is singular and the I is plural. This is a youth of ancient Greece, especially an Athenian 18 or 19 years old in training for full citizenship. I don't know if I would call an 18 or 19-year-old a youth. I mean, compared to me, I'm 43. Then yes, they are definitely a youth. But you know, they're like a young adult. Youth to me is like below 18. Excuse me while I drink some throat coat tea. That's still quite hot. So it's a youth in ancient Greece, but often this Athenian 18 or 19 years old training for full citizenship. Why are they not already a citizen? How do you train? Do you have to study the Constitution? This word is Greek, ephebos, from epi, plus hebe, which means youth or puberty. And then I don't know what it turns into when you add the epi in front of it. I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out in the next episode. Next is, I don't know if this is related. We have ephedra or ephedra. You can emphasize either the first or the second syllable. ephedra. Noun from 1889, circa 1889, in fact. Number 1, any of a genus of jointed, nearly leafless shrubs of dry or desert regions with the leaves reduced to scales at the nodes. So I guess when at the places where the leaves come out of the stick, the branch, they're just like little scales. You can't call them leaves. They're just like maybe real close to the stick, and they're very tiny maybe. And then they become leaves after that. They're jointed, nearly leafless shrub, but they're also, so maybe that's what the leaves are. They're just the scales. It's essentially leafless, other than these little scales. Dry or desert regions, they are from the genus Ephedra, of the family Ephedraceae, and maybe we should post a picture on social media of this specific kind of ephedra. But we have more ephedra, in fact. Here's more ephedra. Number 2, an extract of ma huang, That looks Asian, an Asian word or phrase, ma huang, containing ephedrine and related alkaloids and used as a dietary supplement. And now I feel like I should look up ma huang. It's 2 words, by the way. To see, I'm seeing a plant. Let's go to all, not just images. Yeah, I mean, it's just called ephedra, native to Mongolia, Russia, and northeastern China. Yeah. So that's what it is. So it looks probably, yes, ephedra, also called ma huang, is an herb that has been used in traditional Chinese medicine for more than 5,000 years. So this looks like it's probably very similar to the number 1 definition, but the reason it's got its own thing is because this is the extract of this plant. The extract, and it contains ephedrine, which looks like this is where we get the name ephedrine from. And it's related to alkaloids and used as a dietary supplement. So dietary how? I don't know. Is it you want to lose weight, gain weight, or you're having stomach issues, maybe makes your tummy feel better? Could be a variety of reasons. But they've been using it for more than 5,000 years. This is one of those medicinal plant things where I think most of our medicine should probably come from plants. They often do come from plants, but then they get pharmacologically changed into these drugs that are made in labs. But this is one of these naturally occurring things that can help your body. Okay, ephedra. This word, it's just from the genus name, from the Latin equisetum, which is from the Greek ephedros, which means sitting upon. Sitting upon what? Your throne? Your toilet? Interesting that it means sitting upon. Maybe if it's a dietary supplement, maybe you were sitting on the toilet. That was the problem. And then maybe this would help you. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I have not read up on how this helps you. I'm just guessing. And this word, ephedros, is from the epi prefix plus hedra, which means seat. And there's more at the word sit. So somehow it's related to sitting down. Fascinating. Yeah, maybe I'll put a link in the show notes for, some of the stuff that I'm seeing here. And then maybe also like, why do we use this? But maybe this next and last word is going to help a little bit because it is ephedrine. ephedrine. And the British say ephedrine. Ephedrine. Noun from 1889. Same year that we got ephedra in English. This is a crystalline sympathomimetic alkaloid, C10H15NO, extracted from Chinese ephedras, or synthesized and usually used in the form of a salt, especially as a bronchodilator and decongestant. Bronchodilator means it's going to help your lungs, it's going to dilate, maybe make it easier to breathe. Decongestant, maybe your sinuses are all clogged up and you need some ephedra, so it's going to open everything up. I've heard of ephedrine. I wouldn't have been able to tell you what it is. You see it on the drug boxes. So it did decongestant. I'll try to remember that. Messed up my nose. Yeah, that's it. It doesn't have anything to do with sitting down. Still confused about that. Not helpful at all. All right, let's pick a word of the episode. We had today epazote. That's worm seed. Epeist, epeirogeny, epenthesis. They're all different. I got to look at the pronunciation every time. Epern, epexegesis, ephebe, ephebic, ephebus, ephedra, and ephedrine. Well, I think I need to pick Epexegesis. Epexegesis, unless you want to respell it. Epexegesis, because it's all about just adding additional explanation, and that is what I like to do when I can. If I just like to mansplain. That's what it is. I just want to explain things to you. Even though you might know it, I'm just going to explain it to you. But no, sometimes, the book doesn't give much of a definition, and you might not know what it is, so I'm just going to add some more. Epexegesis. Epexegesis is a fun word to say. It's all about explaining things to the other people. Yeah, epexegesis. That's the end of the words. If you don't know, my name is Spencer, and at the end of the word part of these episodes, I like to talk about a movie or two that I have seen. I'm just going in order from when I watched them. It's real quick. And had to bring up a list and see where we left off. Okay, where I left off is with a movie called After Death, and it is about NDEs. It's a documentary about NDEs, which are near-death experiences, which I have always found as a fascinating topic. There are some interesting interviews and stories from the people in the documentary, but this is my own personal gripe, and not everybody's going to feel the same way, but some people will. It's made by a production company that seems very religious, and I am personally not a religious person. I'm much more spiritual than religious, and so it was a little frustrating to me that this very interesting spiritual but also scientific thing is getting put into this religious bucket, and I feel like we can open it up to people who are not this specific type of religion and open it up to because everybody can experience this. So anyway, that was my only thing with that movie. Afterwards, recently, in I think early December 2023, Allie Ward on her podcast Ologies had an episode about NDEs. She interviewed somebody who studies this stuff. And so that is a much more scientific place to get some information on this. And he actually was offered to be interviewed for the documentary, but declined because it wasn't scientific enough. I will say that the majority of the documentary is not very religious, but by the end, that's when they get into that area. So, up to you if you want to see. It's called After Death. And then we watch Priscilla, and this is the movie about Priscilla Presley, and it's her story of sort of her relationship with Elvis, where she met him, how old she was. Oh, she was so young. And just her time with him and what that was like. And so it's really just a lot of scenes with the two of them interacting. She has very few lines. Elvis talks a lot, and she doesn't. And it's based off of her book, her actual memoir, and so I assume it's fairly accurate. I don't know much. I've never read the book or anything. But yeah, it's a very sort of, I don't know if meditative is quite the right word, but it's just a bunch of scenes from their life. And it's really interesting to see that side of him specifically, because he's so much more in the limelight, but just the two of them and their relationship. And to see how sort of she changes throughout that time too. Okay, that's the end of this episode. Thank you very much for listening. You can watch this on YouTube at SpeedJampar. Go look it up. Go find me. Go subscribe to me. Watch my face. And until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information.